Hi, YouTubers, I'm going to do a video right now. So, this one has big ass cigars, a big ass cigar for life. So, I want to give a video right now on something very important. So, this is going to be actually a pretty serious topic. So, I thought it was tonight. So, pretty cool. A nice big ass topic, the big ass cigar. So, it's actually going to be a health related topic. So, I don't do these very often because I know a lot of people don't like health related topics. So, buckle up, guys. Pretty serious topic. So, I made this video a long time ago. Probably, I'd say about a year ago, and maybe several months ago. It was about being biased, and that sounds really weird. So, biased. So, basically, I want to talk about biasy right now. So, or being biased, which most people know that means. I'm going to explain to you being biased. So, about tobacco. So, this is one of the reasons I continue to be very biased about tobacco. Obviously, any doctor, dentist, any healthcare professional, any person in the medical field, any person, Cargo, my 1 sec, is going to say, you know, smoking is bad for you. Because it is. I mean, there's nothing good about smoking, I admit it. I mean, it's for people who are over 18, over 21, whatever the legal age in your state or jurisdiction, it's like, you know, it's for people who are over 21 or over 18, whatever, and I'm 25 and a half the last time. I'm not lying. You know, believe what you want to believe, but I'm not lying. So, what I was going to say was, any doctor is going to tell you smoking is bad for you. And believe me, I know that smoking is bad for me. I know I'm way too addicted to smoking, so I do it way too much, but it's like, you know, I really enjoy it. So, like, my parents say they can't take that away from me because I am over 21, I'm over 18, and it's like, you know, telling my cat she can't go outside, even though we also have a couple of years ago to a coyote. So, and for the last time, I'm 25 and a half. For the last time. So, I'm not lying. So, basically what I was going to say was, I think why people get very biased, and believe me when I say this, I know that smoking is bad for you. I know it can cause mouth cancer, throat cancer, lung cancer, all kinds of problems, but you know what? I want to give my honest opinion. So, I'm not saying it's healthy by any stretch of the imagination, and anyone who knows me knows I don't lie. So, what I was going to say was, I think one of the reasons people get very biased is, or people get biased on tobacco is basically, I want to talk about right now, is basically why a doctor might not give you the exact right, accurate information. So, this is kind of my theory. Just giving a theory, you can agree, disagree, give me your theory. So, why a doctor might give you not the right information. So, that's why I continue to be biased. So, orb runner off, sorry. So, I know the orb runner is very annoying. It comes on like every 5 minutes. So, it's like, you know, this is why a doctor might not give you the correct information. So, the reason a doctor might say, you know, Evan, or smoking SC77, do you realize, you know, at 25 years old, it's a strong possibility you could get mouth cancer? It's like when I went to the dentist last, you know, they asked how much I smoke, and I say, well, a couple times a day, and they're like, well, do you check your mouth? And I wanted to say to them, I don't say this because I'm not rude. I'm not a rude person. I'm a very polite person. I try to be an extremely polite person. I'm a very honest person. I kind of wanted to say to them, you know, is it possible for a 25-year-old to get mouth cancer? But the chance of you developing something at 25 years old is like, you know, one of my subscribers, Big Papa Pump, said, you're still young. You probably won't know as much until you're about 35 or so. It's like with the being overweight, you know, being 40 pounds overweight. It's like, you won't know as much until you're about 35 or so. It's like, you know, the dentist is like, you know, after 4 years, they're like, well, there's a strong possibility after 4 years you could get full-blown mouth cancer. It's like, you know, which I think is really a bunch of baloney. It's like, I think the chance of you getting mouth cancer after 4 years is about the same as you dying in a car accident. It's like, you know, yes, you will always hear about, like, a random case, you know, like, okay, you know, a random case of, you know, 16-year-old kid smoked for 1 year, got full-blown mouth cancer. You always hear about those cases, but they're so infrequent, it's like, you know, it's like drawing the wrong straw. I mean, someone's going to draw the wrong straw and end up with mouth cancer after 1 year of smoking. That's just going to happen. It's like, same thing as like somebody's going to drive on the road today, and they're going to, end up dying in a car accident. It's like, they're going to die in a car accident. It's like, it's just the chance you take. It's the same thing like people say with smokeless tobacco. Your chance of getting mouth cancer is about the same as dying in a car accident. Now, it does not mean that kids should do it. It's like, I support every bill that keeps tobacco out of the hands of children, because children should be playing video games. Children should be playing with their toys. Children should be doing what children do, because children should not be smoking. Smoking is for adults, same as drinking alcohol, same thing as choosing to be obese. It's an adult choice. It's like, what you do when you're 25 and a half years old, like my age, is very different than what you do yourself when you're 16 years old, because you can't make the decisions. It's like, that's considered basically neglect. It's like, that's why, there's people who have had their kids taken away. It's like, because, their kids taken away because, their kids taken away, it's like, because they basically let their, 15-year-old kid eat 15 cheeseburgers a day. And then they end up being 400 pounds, and they end up getting taken away by social services. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's like, and that's like, there's a difference between being 15 years old and being 25 and a half. At 25 and a half, you're a grown-ass man like the big ass cigar, and you can do whatever the hell you want. I admit I still live with my parents, which is really whatever. It's like, but I can, do whatever I want because I'm an adult. It's like, I'm a grown-ass man like the big ass cigar. And for the last time, I'm not lying, I'm 25 and a half years old. Believe it what you ever want, but I'm 25 and a half years old. So I don't have to show my ID on camera. It's like, it's like, what I was going to say was, it's like, I get very biased with people's opinions about doctors, Back to what I was saying, it's like, doctors are like, well, there's a huge chance at 25 and a half years old you could get mouth cancer, but it really isn't. So, and the point I make after 7 minutes of rambling is, one big reason a doctor's not going to encourage you or not encourage you, what I was trying to say was, a big reason a doctor's not going to give you that much information. I mean, if you do the research yourself, like I have done on cigars and pipes online, through Google, and actually researching like how incredibly rare mouth or oral cancer is. Not saying it's good, and not saying there's a chance I couldn't get it, but I'm saying actually doing the hardcore research, actually looking at the facts. One reason a doctor's not going to tell you, by the way, smoking SC77 or Evan, it's like, one reason a doctor's not going to tell you that is because it's basically encouraging bad behavior. It's like, that's a huge reason a doctor's not going to do that. And it's like, another big reason, if you happen to draw the wrong straw, and you did end up with mouth cancer at 25, you could sue them for millions of dollars. It's like, it's a medical liability. It's a medical liability for a doctor or dentist to tell you there's a strong possibility you get mouth cancer at 25. It's a medical liability. It's the same thing when I go to my gastroenterologist. I have celiac disease, and he has to tell me, you really should be on a gluten-free diet, which I'm going to try a gluten-free diet for my bipolar. It's like, he has to tell me that. Is small bowel cancer very common? Not in the slightest. It's like, small bowel cancer is, not even common at all. It's considered very rare by American standards, but if I happen to draw the wrong straw, and I end up with small bowel cancer, then lo and behold, I could sue him. Not that we would, not that my family would, but a lot of people would. It's like, that's one of the reasons the doctor's not going to tell you that, and I want to make this explicitly clear, this information is only for adults. So, if you're over 18, you're over 21, do what you want to do. Under that, absolutely not. When you're adult, make your own decisions. I'm an adult, I can make my own decisions. So, what I was going to say is, this obviously is for adults. People who are adults. I mean, I'm an adult. People on Cigar Gang, they're adults with those nice big-ass cigars. It's like, I can make my own decisions, but I'm an adult. It's not to encourage anybody, by any means, to smoke underage. What I was going to say is, it's like, that's one of the reasons the doctor's not going to tell you that. Is because it's basically encouraging bad behavior. So, and obviously, like, besides, encouraging bad behavior, besides medical liability, I'm a paralegal, I know that, it's like, besides, huge medical liability, potentially being sued for millions of dollars if he gave you wrong information. Not to mention it's encouraging bad behavior. It's encouraging bad behavior, which is the complete opposite, like the parallel opposite of what a doctor is supposed to tell you to. It's supposed to tell you to eat apple, they keep the doctor away. To get a cigar of life. Another reason is there's a lot of indirect consequences. It's like, yes, it may be your choice to smoke, but secondhand smoke affects people. It's like maybe your choice to smoke. It's like your choice to put your body at risk of cancer as long as you're an adult, like I am. It's not fair to people who have to be around secondhand smoke. It's not fair when you throw a burning cigarette on the ground and it causes a wildfire. It's not fair when the entire apartment burns down because you threw a cigarette on the ground and it burned down the entire apartment. Not that I would ever do that. I'm extremely careful when I smoke. I always put on my cigar butts in the ashtray. I have my ashtray right here. I never throw my cigar butts all over the place. I never do that because I am responsible. I'm a responsible smoker. So it's like I never throw my cigar butts all over the place. This video's over 11 minutes long, sorry. It's like, I am very careful, but it's like, some people aren't. It's like, that's another reason that people continue to be biased. It's because, yeah, maybe your choice to smoke. It's not fair to people who have to be around the smoke. It's not fair to people, when you throw a cigarette butt on the ground and it causes a wildfire. It's not fair that if you do happen to end up with whatever type of cancer or health problems, it's like, it's not fair to those people, they have to end up paying, a huge amount because, the average price for like a lung cancer treatment costs $500,000. It's like, that's another reason people are negative towards smoking. And people tend to have a very negative opinion. It's like, yes, it might be your choice to smoke, but I don't want to be around it. It's like, and that's why my parents make me smoke outside. I never am allowed to smoke inside my house, aside from like bringing a cigar in just to bring some like packages, or like something into my house. The closest I can smoke in my house is the garage. But back to the whole point of the video is that's why a doctor is going to be a little bit biased when they give you information, or your dentist, or any kind of healthcare provider. It's not only huge medical liability. It's not only huge medical liability. It's not only it's encouraging bad behavior, which is obviously bad. It's like, it's also going to be like, it's kind of like, it's not fair to people who have to be around the smoke. It's like, it's not fair, if you did, happen to flick a cigarette into dry brush and it caused an entire wildfire. It's like, it's not fair if, you were a woman, you smoked when you were pregnant and your kid ended up being born 3 months early. It's like the same thing. It's like, it's the indirect effects. It's also, the indirect effect is also, the indirect effects, it's also, it's not fair to people to be around the smoke. It's like, it's also like, not to mention it's huge medical liability. It's like, the statistics may show that, lip cancer has a 90% cure rate if found early. Yeah, that may be a medical fact. If you even ended up with like lip cancer, it has a 90% cure rate, but it's like, if God forbid I end up with that at some day, not that I believe in God, the point I'm trying to make is, it's like, if I end up with that, it's like, it's a huge medical liability. And that's why people are very biased. It's like, it's not fair to people who have to be around it. It's not fair to people, this video's almost 15 minutes long, I really apologize. It's like, this is important. So it's like, that's why, I'm just telling adult current smokers, be wary when you take information in. It's like, especially cigarette smokers, it's a totally different ball game. If you're a cigarette smoker, don't believe a word of this, because cigarette smoking is a totally different ball game. It's like, sure, some of the smoke is getting into your lungs with cigars and pipes. Cigarettes are terrible. They smell terrible. They're horrible. They're super expensive. They stink. And it's like, they're made out of like basically paper. They basically made out of like paper. It's like, and it basically is chemicals. It's like, cigars are a totally natural product. Pipe tobacco is a totally natural product. It's like, cigars are basically just a synthetic product. So I mean, it's like, cigarettes are basically just a drug. It's like, there's some value in smoking cigars and pipes. Nothing. It's not that I have. It's not that I have anything against um anything against cigarette smokers. It's your choice. If you're over 18, you're over 21, and you want to smoke cigarettes, that's your business. Same thing with marijuana. Same thing with drinking alcohol. Same thing with being morbidly obese. Same thing with being 500 pounds. It's you're over 18, you're over 21, you're adult. Like I am, make your own decisions. It's like I can't stop you. It's like obviously within some reason, as long as your decisions are not hurting other people. My smoking is only hurting me because I'm not smoking in my house. I'm not smoking anywhere near my parents. I don't blow smoke in people's faces. I don't be careless how I smoke. I always safely put on my tobacco. And I'm always responsible. I don't smoke around other people unless those people are also smokers. So, the only time I smoke around other people is in my cigar lounge with other people who also smoke. And it's like 16 minutes long, I really apologize. But it's like, you get the point. It's like, if you're a cigar and pipe smoker, be a little bit wary when somebody's giving you information. Be a little bit wary. Especially if you don't smoke a lot. It's like, if you smoke 10 cigars a day, you're going to kill yourself. That's ridiculous. It's like, you smoke freaking 10 cigars a day, you're going to kill yourself. It's like, you smoke 1 or 2 cigars a day, be very wary. Be very wary of what kind of information you're getting. Because 1 or 2 cigars a day for somebody who's obviously over 18, obviously over 21, like me, be wary. It's like, be very biased with the kind of information. It's like, be very biased. Because keep in mind when a doctor or dentist, obviously for the last time, this is for people who are over 21, over 18. This is not at all for kids, and I don't want kids getting the impression. Your kid, stay well clear of smoking, never smoke. I'd be the happiest person in the world if you never started smoking. And I kind of wish I didn't start. You get the point. It's like, this is obviously for adults. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you're over 18, you're over 21, you're a current, 1 or 2 cigar a day smoker, be very wary of what kind of information you're getting. Be very wary. Because keep in mind when a doctor or dentist tells you, it's like, listen, you've been smoking cigars for 3 years, 1 or 2 cigars a day. It's like, we're going to have to, every time you come in and examine your mouth, be very wary. Because a lot of times, these people are being heavily influenced by huge, huge, huge anti-tobacco zealots. And it's also like, be very careful with kind of information. And for the last time, this is for people who are over 18, over 21 like me. So, big ass cigar life. Be very wary of the kind of information you're getting. Because keep in mind, a lot of this information is backed up by people who are furious when somebody throws a cigarette on the ground and it burns down the entire apartment. Car going by 1 sec. Sorry. This was almost 20 minutes long. I really apologize. Car. Be very wary. It's like, because keep in mind, you may, you may, be like, okay, I think that's bad, but, keep in mind, when you, take that information, think about the source it's coming from, and do your own research like I've done. So I made my level of comfort with smoking, and be careful. It's like, be careful, and for the last time, this is for people who are over 18, over 21. So, big ass cigar life. Be careful. It's like, be careful with the kind of information you're getting. Because keep in mind, doctors and dentists are heavily influenced by anti-tobacco zealots. They have a medical liability to say, you shouldn't smoke. And be careful with the kind of information you're taking in, because keep in mind, a lot of this is influenced by people who are shit furious when somebody threw a cigarette on the ground, it caused an entire wildfire, it burned down the entire forest. Or it's from people who grew up in a house with a bunch of people who were selfish and smoked inside, and ended up with emphysema or asthma. So be very biased. And this is for current smokers, obviously. Current 18 or plus smokers. So, anyway, be biased. 20 minutes long, if it's any longer. Big ass cigar life. Be very careful with the kind of information you get in. Be very careful, because a lot of this information is incorrect, and keep in mind, be very careful and make your own decisions. Last time for adults only like me, the Ask Life.